Okay, there is this thing that there is no dog-free, animal-free zone anywhere in the country. There is no such law only that is going to tell you that we are going to give you an animal-free zone or a bird-free zone. So, I'm going. Let me complete. So, which means that the apartment setup is there, and there you're thinking I need to have an animal free zone. That is understandable, but that is not how the law works. That is not how the nature works. What happens is, no matter how much you restrict, the vacuum will always be filled by any other animal if you remove the friendly ones. So what we tried, the whole idea of having community dogs and having people get adjusted to the dogs that they know or they have seen from the beginning, is to ensure that this kind of fear is at least mitigated to an extent. Extreme fear is something that cannot be eliminated by keeping the animals away alone and restricting them. But it also means that there is some amount of interaction somewhere. That is, interaction also is that something that is not being forced. Ki you go, you touch the dog, or you go stand near the dog, or you go walk near the dog. That is not something that is told. But that much fear has to be handled by citizens ki okay, there is going to be a dog around, this is the place, this is the most common place where the dog walks, and some amount of adjustments, subtle adjustments can be done to the dog behavior also, so that you have your own space. For example, over here there is a very huge space. Like I told, dogs usually have that 500 meters wala radius kind of a thing, and dogs move only when they don't have food available in the space that they are. They don't have shade in that particular place because they're not comfortable. Then dogs move when there are too many people in the place where they are, and there is this constant security guard is moving, someone is chasing, so they get uncomfortable, and they're active, all riled up because there's too much of vehicles, these kind of things. But in case if there are places wherein there is some amount of people interaction, but then they have their own space to sleep, eat, walk and all those things, then they won't come into the places where you are walking, you are interacting, you are playing, that kind. So that is the restriction you can do, maximum adjustment that can be done to ensure that these conflicts don't happen. So someone is really scared, then they don't have to run, they can still go for their walks and all that.
Back to that 500 meters, I don't agree. Because I'm staying here since last 1.5 months. I see the community dogs everywhere. So 500 concept, I don't agree.
There is, I did speak to Praveen about it. So the 2 dogs, that will remain. But what happens is, if there are more entry points that are there in the premises already and not dogs. You're talking about 2 dogs everywhere.
We are talking about 2 dogs everywhere. Right from the entrance, till the 5th thing, I have seen them.
Even in swimming pool area. Even in swimming pool area. Yeah.
That eventually little bit of behavioral
Can that be
training has to
restricted in
be
any
done.
way? I mean, can we?
Not totally.
Take care of.
Right.
On the BBMP,
No. Let me make this very clear that we all speak the same language and we are all talking the same laws.
Sir, my point is, my wife has been hospitalized once because of the fear of dog. She fell down and she had to hospitalize. I can show you the proof of that. So my question is to the BBMP authorities, if I am not able to walk freely in the premises because of the fear of dog, how I am going to make sure about my rights as a citizen? That is question to the BBMP. Because 500-meter concept, do you agree to that?
No.
We don't agree. We don't agree to that. So I have a question to you, sir.
No, BBMP is represented.
Okay, sir. You have a question.
Okay. So I understood your question. So the thing is, see, there are 500 meter. That's the thing. The other thing. So we should not restrict the animal, free movement of the animal. So you are telling. See, one thing we will assure that only those 2 animals are your community animals. Outside dogs we will not entertain. Okay. So anyway, already told. So barricade and all, your association or your apartment issue. So to restrict that, only we will consider these 2 as your community animals. The thing is, they should be here only. There should be a free movement for those. Without that, we can't do anything.
Sir, I have one question. When you are saying community dog, like what is the process to declare some dog community dog? There was no community discussion when these 2 dogs were decided that these are community dogs. So as a community, we also have rights to stay in that, right?
In the same way. See, we are also telling we have human rights. Same thing, we also, the here, animal husband department to ensure the animal rights.
No, the question is how these two dogs are defined as community dogs, you want to understand.
So community tax, they were here only.
No, before that it was full of trees.
Yeah.
There was no community here. When I came here, it was full field. And there was no community
No,
here.
for everything we need to produce the proof.
So BBMP could also support that these two dogs belong to the
Already
community.
it's feeding
We
going.
had already 5-6 months back I had come to.
Okay.
So 3 dogs were
Because
there.
here, see-
We had given a feeding spot there. Still construction was going on. One was having some health issue, and only three dogs were there.
Sir, therefore,
we need to-
That's the point,
Yeah.
sir. The
Yeah.
question is, there was no community here before, right?
Community dog is a word that has been coined in ABC rules for street dogs because the government decided that it has to eventually turn out to be a community ownership. Meaning, if there is an open land, which is BBMP government property, and at that point of time there are dogs and cats that are already living. Once there is a construction of the property, the dogs also will have the rights in that particular place itself. So for example, this is the property where all these dogs were there, when the trees and forests and everything was there. It means that the dogs will automatically get absorbed in the property. Community dog doesn't mean you bring the dog and then it becomes a community. No, it still means that it is street dog and that is still the BBMP's ownership.
So we respect that decision. BBMP must have followed some rules to decide that these are community dogs.
That is
We are
why
not
we are
denying
from
that.
this.
No, not
We are not-
BBMP, it is a central law.
Central law. Okay. So some law or BBMP must have followed some process to designate them as a community dog. We respect that. But our concern here is that these community dogs are roaming unleashed, as sir suggested. He has fear. I have kids. He has kids. Our kids are not able. We are not